Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of To the Max Outdoors. Today's video is going to be part one of a two-part series dealing with a new turkey hunting shotgun that Max and I picked up here in a while back. So we've been kicking around the idea of shooting tungsten shot for turkeys for the past few years. Never really wanted to jump onto the price of it. To be honest with you, that's what kept me away from them, was the price of them. Well, fast forward a few years, I have some friends of mine that own a company here in West Virginia. Right there you can see it, Viper Ammunition out of North Central West Virginia. Those guys specialize in tungsten shotgun shells. Well, Craig and his buddy Andrew, they come up with a 3-inch, 1-ounce load of 9.5s to shoot out of a 410. That's absolutely friggin' devastating, and we'll show you that in part 2 of this video. But so Max and I have been looking around. We found this little cheap economy. It's a Savage Stevens 301. It's a single shot 410 break action, single shot 410. Now we've been kicking around buying one of these for a while. My local Bass Pro actually had these on sale for $179, so we took the trip up there and I bought one. Now, for me personally, after getting this gun, it is the finish on it is pretty shitty in my opinion. It's not a very good finish. The bluing is really rough. The machine works rough in it. And this gun here, as I was reading here on the side of it, it's actually made by Sun City Machinery out of China. So you get what you pay for. And there again, this isn't a high-end gun. This isn't a Ruger Red Label, so I don't expect that quality out of it. But that got me thinking, why don't we paint the barrel and the action on this gun? Why don't we do some kind of neat paint job to it? I mean, what are we ruining? If I just paint it and I don't like it, take it back off a stripper, it's no big deal. It's got a rougher, blued finish to it, and like I said, a lot of that's the machine work. It's just not good work. But there again, it's a $180 gun, so you get what you pay for. The pretty cool thing about this gun is they all do come with a optics ready. I don't know if it's a Picatinny or a Weaver rail, but they all come with an optics ready mount on them, so they're all drilled and tapped on top. And the only thing they have for a sight is just a BB on them, so they're again keeping with the economy gun on the cheap side of things. I swung by Midway USA's website and actually had this Firefield Impact XL reflex sight on sale for $60. So I picked it up and we have that. Now the reason I went for a reflex sight rather than a red dot is the reflex will give you a little bit of the reflex sight moves, your crosshairs or your target picture moves if you're not straight down the comb of the gun. So that's the reason I went with a reflex. Good, bad, indifferent, I don't know. I personally like reflexes better than red dots, so personal opinion for me. So that's why that is. So all said and done, we're into this gun, $180, $60, so $240. We're into this gun. Yes, the ammunition is expensive, but you know, to be expected at that point. Tungsten is expensive. And there again, when we sight this gun in, we're going to do it with standard old lead shells, and then we'll just fine tune it when we shoot the tungsten. So it's not really that big a deal, and it's not like you're going to be shooting bunches of those tungstens every year. Once you get it sighted in, hopefully you just shoot it one time at every turkey that you kill. Hopefully Max can get 2 and I can get 2, so that would be 4 shots maximum, but we all know that's a perfect world. So this video here, what we're going to do is, like I said, just give you a general rundown of this gun. It's super simple to disassemble. The forearm on this stock, get it over here hopefully. There it is. The forearm of this stock has a button. Just to press that button, it comes off a locking lug there on it's made right into the barrel. Break the barrel down, slide it out. Pretty simple. Really, all you need to disassemble this gun is a straight screwdriver that takes the optics rail off of the barrel, forearm come off of the button. You need a Phillips screwdriver to take the butt stock off, take the butt pad off of the butt stock, and then a 13mm socket gets the through bolt for the action in the butt stock. So I'm going to go ahead and disassemble this here a little bit, then I'll bring you back here when I got it fully disassembled. Alright, so there we are. It literally took us less than 5 minutes to disassemble this gun. And there again, the only thing I needed to disassemble this gun, Phillips screwdriver, a straight screwdriver, and a 13mm socket. And I actually have 7 inches of extension there. 6 inches was too short, and I didn't have one bigger, so I had to add one to it. Really simple to disassemble. Now, I will say, I'm glad I did disassemble this gun. The bolt that holds the stock to the receiver has a lock washer on it. Get it up there in the camera right. That lock washer was not crushed from the factory. That upsets me. It may have had 2 threads engaged in it, and if it had torque on it, it was in the low inch-pounds of torque. That's unacceptable for what's designed as kind of a youth gun. In my mind, it's designed as a youth gun. That's unacceptable to me. And the next thing that's unacceptable to me that I'm going to show you, and there again, I'm not bashing on this gun, I'm just telling you what you should look for when you buy it. Right there is where the bolt protrudes out of the stock that bolts in here to the end of the receiver. You have 2 full threads sticking out, that's it. Now, granted, you gotta crush the lock washer. There's no reason this bolt couldn't have been 4 more threads longer, because you have well over 3/4 to an inch of threads in the receiver. And taking the optics rail off, it just has these wee little optics mount screws, just like any rail mount would have, short ones. Nothing at all had any torque on it that I took apart. And I'm not a big fan of that. That stuff should have had some torque on it. Now, me personally, I use medium strength Permatex, blue Permatex. In my mind, I know everybody's different. In my mind, blue Permatex is that second level of security that takes any doubt out of my mind. Blue Permatex is not permanent. You can break it free by hand, and I feel that every action bolt, scope base, scope mount, I feel that all those should have some form of Loctite on them that's removable. Not the red stuff, not the stuff that stays forever, something that you can remove with hand tools. Peace of mind, it keeps it from vibrating. These guns beat, bang, kick, in and out of the truck, in and out of the woods. Maybe it rides on the rack of the four-wheeler and gets its guts beat out of it. In my mind, there's no reason it shouldn't have it on there. Now, there again, this is a cheap gun. It's a budget gun. Like you've seen there, I took the BB. Well, I don't know if I showed you that or not, but the BB that should have been on the end of the barrel, it's in my hand right here, which I'm going to have a hard time showing you, but it's in my hand right there. That BB come out with my fingers. It's got what resembles a thread on it cut into the brass, but there again, unacceptable. We're not using that brass BB, so it won't go back in. Things like that you probably better look for. And another thing that I'm not real fond of, so we talked about the push button that disassembles the fore end right there. In that slider track for that push button that grabs the locking lug right here on the barrel, they have the sling stud. That's a nylon lock nut there in the sling stud, but it goes through the plate that catches it to hold it on the forearm. Well, you can't torque that down because then the button won't work because the nut grabs that plate. Well, in turn, that lets that sling stud rotate freely. So that little nut will be coming back off and getting some blue Loctite on it, because it is a nylon lock nut, but it doesn't have very much nylon on it, and I can hold my finger on the nut and turn the stud. So there again, things to look for. By no means am I bashing a gun, by no means. You absolutely get what you pay for. So that is what it is. But So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol wipes that probably 99% of us have in our house from COVID for the last few years. I'm going to wipe everything down. There's not really a whole bunch of machine manufacturing oil on these, on the receiver or on the barrel itself. I'm pretty happy about that. So I'll wipe everything down. Now I will spray bomb rattle can the barrel, but the receiver here, I think I'm going to have to take a brush and paint it, because I don't want to get paint on the breakdown or the hammer or the safety. This does also have a safety on the side of it also. So I don't want to get paint in there to hinder the action of that. So I'll take a brush to it, and there's actually a little recess. Well, you can't see it. There's actually a little recess there that I'm gonna drop a little dot of red paint in. That way, you know when it's on bang and when it's on not bang. So we'll definitely add that to it. So I'm not going to bore you with the painting process. I mean, we've all done it. We've all got our own tricks and tips on how to do that. But like I said, I'll rattle can the barrel, and I'll hand brush the action part of it so I can control where the paint goes. And I'm going to leave the choke in this gun when I paint it, because I do have an Indian Creek and a Pattern Masters choke that's going to go in there, but we'll talk about them on the shooting days. But as you see here sitting on the bench, that's the 3-inch 1 ounce load of 9.5s that Viper ammunition loads. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll try to get it up there in the camera. Yeah, I think you can see that little adding touch of those guys on their shot card there on the end of the roll crimp. Those guys have a turkey foot etched into that little clear shot tube, and you can look down in there and looking right at a face full 9.5 tungsten shot. So that's pretty cool. Look those guys up, Viper Ammunition. They're on Facebook. They'll treat you great, and everything positive to say about those guys. But you'll see those results on the second video when we're shooting. We'll count how many BBs actually go in it. I know there's thousands of other videos out there about it, but I'm gonna do it and show my viewers because it impressed the heck out of me. So, all right, I'll quit babbling, and I'll bring you back when this gun's painted. So, thanks for staying here. All right, here we are. We're a couple days past the point of breaking this gun down and cleaning it. Now, just to recap, what I did was I took this gun apart, as you seen there in the video, wiped it all down with alcohol. I took a maroon Scotch-Brite pad, like I have right there in my hand. It's tore pieces off. I sanded the bluing down. I'm not gonna say I sanded down. I roughed the bluing up on the barrel and the action, and just like I figured, being an economy gun made in China, the bluing was really thin. I'm not gonna say I took it into the white, but I took it pretty thin. But I was happy enough that was enough rough surface to get the paint to adhere to, and cleaned it all down with alcohol again. Now I did hit it with some Ace Hardware Rust Stop flat gray primer. That was my first coat. I sprayed that on. I sprayed the barrel with that, and then I brushed the receiver, because as you see here on the receiver part, I didn't want the barrel break action in the hammer, nor on the bottom. I didn't want the trigger guard or the trigger to get painted. So I did do that by hand. I did brush it in with a hand. And all I did there was I just used some 99-cent foam pads to get all that in, and that laid down really nice. I let that cure for 24 hours, as it said. And then over the barrel, I hit it with some Rust-Oleum satin finish, what they call oregano color. There again, sprayed the barrel and then brushed it on the receiver part. And I purposely did a satin flat and black together just to see how it turned out. I obviously didn't want a gloss finish, but I mixed the three different finish types together, and I think it turned out pretty well. Now, the reason I didn't show how I did the camo on YouTube is because there's 100 million different ways to do it, and I watched some videos on here, and I seen a guy take just a standard old scrubbing sponge. I bought this for $1.50 at the Ace Hardware, and all it is like a natural foam on one side, and then the other side is a more open celled cleaning foam or cleaning pad, and all I did was cut little pieces out of it, as you can see there. Took some spray paint, sprayed some paint in a paper plate, and just dabbed the sponge in it. And then I just started running test. As you can see there, I just started running tests to see how much paint I wanted to load up in here to get what kind of pattern I wanted out of it. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll try to hold this gun up here in the light where you can see it. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Rolled around there in the light a little bit. Really pleased with the way this turned out. Really super pleased. Now, remember I told you I left the factory choke tube in it. That way I wouldn't get paint down in the barrel. And I do have an Indian Creek and a Pattern Master that I will shoot out of that, so I wasn't really concerned about getting paint on it. But you can see there is the that is the Firefield Impact XL reflex sight that's on that gun right there. And I don't know if you can see, but looking down the cheek here, I know reading a bunch of reviews on it, guys say that the factory mount was too high for an optic. Now in my case, I didn't find that to be my case. With the factory mount, the factory optic ready mount that it come with, I was able to mount that up, and I'm happy with the way this gun shoulders. When I shoulder it, I mean I'm right on it, and it's a reflex sight, so you get a little bit of adjustability out of it. But all in all, really happy with the way it turned out for being, you know, this was done on the download, cheap and dirty. You know, I got, I don't know, probably $10 worth of spray paint there, and few hours of time. You know, I would do a coat, let it set for a day, you know, obviously go to work, come home, dab it again in the morning, let it set all day, maybe come back in the evening, hit it. And really all I've done with these little sponges here that I was talking about, I just kind of sporadically dabbed it around. There's no rhyme or reasons. There's some colors that are heavier in some spots, but this gun here is a Realtree Timber camo, and I didn't try to match it by no means. I just tried to camouflage it, you know, overall, some way, shape, or form. I just tried to camo it. Just there again, just playing around. You know, this is kind of a hobby gun, kind of a, I don't know, just a little project to tinker around with, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I would definitely do it again. I would definitely do another gun. I kind of enjoyed this. It is kind of tedious around the actions and whatnot, but like I said, I didn't want to paint the trigger. I didn't want the trigger guard painted. I didn't want the barrel brake or the hammer. Now what I did do that I think should come factory is, if you look right here where the safety is, see that little red fire dot there? That was not painted red, and I wanted it painted. I'm not real sure why that didn't come painted red, but all I did was took some of the wife's acrylic hobby paint and put a little dab of red in it. So really happy with it. Really happy with the way it turned out. There again, there it is looking down the back of it. I think you'll see there that that red dot, that Firefield XL, fits on that gun really good. So, ooh, I knocked my deer off the wall there. There we go. Overall, happy with it. Let me know your comments, what you think. You know, I obviously wouldn't do this to a gun that was a high-end gun or worth a lot of money, but you know, in the long run, if you didn't like it, all you got to do is take some lacquer thinner and wipe this back off. It might take a little bit of elbow grease, but it'll all come back off. None of the moving parts are painted, so we're good there. Now, what I have not done yet that I will do in 48 hours, because all these cans here say after 48 hours of clear coat, I will go buy a flat or a satin spray on clear, and I will spray clear everything. But there again, I'm probably gonna wait 4 days at this point. So at the end of my next work week, I'll take it back apart, shoot her down with clear, probably do 2 or 3 coats of clear, and we'll be ready to go. And like I said in the previous clip there, I'm a Loctite fan, so this will all go back together with Loctite. And next time you see this gun, it will be at our little range, and we will be counting how many pellets can go in the head of a turkey at 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. So thanks for staying tuned this long to the Max Outdoors.